Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Will of Hope. In a small playground in an apartment complex, there was a small beat-up looking 4-year-old kid on the ground. He has dark green curly hair and emerald green eyes and freckles on his cheeks. He is wearing an orange shirt, blue shorts, with socks, red boots. He was looking up to the sky all alone. On that day I learned two things. That not all men are born equal, and two older shadows of a people, one a mess brown-haired teenage boy carrying bags of food, the other a blonde-hair girl with a supermodel figure. Look at him. You're not weak if you ask for help. 10 years later, that same dark green hair boy now was running in a black junior high school uniform with a third-year badge and a green scarf around. But he was not running on the sidewalk, he was building hopping. Until he posted a villain fighting the newest hero, Kamui Woods. His hero costume is a dark blue bodysuit that includes a wooden belt, wooden knee pads, and wooden shoes. A small rose veil hangs from the left side of his belt. Wow, that guy's quirk that Kamui is facing allows him to transform his size. Grr. But using it to steal a woman's bag, what a waste of a good quirk. The green hair boy stopped writing down his note in his notebook. Hey jackass, stop stealing and get a real job. With a quirk like you're their main opportunities. The green boy yelled as shook his right hand and his teeth got sharper. My name is Izuku Midoriya. This distracted the giant bag snatcher, who didn't see the giant foot that kicked him to the ground, knocking him out. Seeing this, Izuku started to write down and draw the newest person, Mountain Lady, who was the person to kick the size-changing villain. He wrote down her name and quirk down in his notebook. Hey, there a kid on the roof, is he going to jump? Said a man with a weird head. Izuku, hearing this, stood up and keep off the roof to get the other side of the inn, was heading toward school so he won't get caught. Not knowing the panic he almost caused. School. The screen shifted to Midoriya's middle school, where the teacher was talking about their futures. Now since you're all in your third year, it's about time that you put some thought into your future, said a middle-aged man. I could pass out some career assessment tests, but why bother? I know you all want to go to the hero track, the teacher exclaimed, and the whole class started showing off their powers. Yes, you've got some very impressive quirks, but no power usage allowed in school, the teacher said, although he did nothing to stop them from doing so. Hey teach. Don't lump me in with these bunch of losers. I'm the real deal, but these guys will be lucky to end up as sidekicks to some busted D-lister, said a teenage female voice. She has spiky blonde hair and red eyes. Wearing a black and white female middle school uniform, and black biker shorts. Her name is Katsuki Bakugo. She an old childhood friend of Izuku. She is also Izuku's bully that tries to put him down for not having a quirk. Well, your scores are impressive. Maybe you will get into UA, the teacher said. The class was culled by this, seeing that she was aiming for the top school in the country. I aced all the mock tests. I'm the only one at this school that stands a chance at getting in. I'll end up more popular than All Might himself and be the greatest hero of all time. People all across the world will know who I am, and it all starts with UA High, she exclaimed. Oh yeah, Midoriya-san, don't you want to go to UA too? The teacher asked. The screen froze and Izuku looked scared. The whole class started laughing at him. Midoriya, there's no way you'll get into the hero course without a quirk, they laughed. And yet again they still think I don't have a quirk, Izuku said, remembering the first time he used it against a wild boar that was chasing Katsuki. Shut up, Katsuki yelled. The rest of the day went on as normal for them. After school, now that class was over, Izuku was walking to his mother's home to his normal route under the bridge when something came out of the manhole cover. It looked like a man who was made out of sludge and attacked him. Izuku tried to struggle. Stop moving around, kid, or I'll snap your neck. Besides, you made it just into I would have been caught if I don't found you. You're a real hero. Oh, what is this feeling? The sludge man said, looking at Izuku's face as he tried to enter his body. But the slug didn't see the scared face of a weak teenage boy. What the fucking hell? The sludge villain visibly shook as he stared into the eyes of the green-haired boy. Something inside him shaking from fear, as if he was staring at death itself. Before anything else could happen, the manhole cover exploded off as a triumphant voice called out. Fear not, young man. The villain and Izuku turned and gasped, if he could, as a tall muscular man stood before them. For I am here. Izuku's eyes widened in shock and awe as he instantly recognized the man before him. All Might. Shit, he found me. The villain yelled as he tried to make a run for it, only to be stopped by these two words. Texas. He flung his fist towards the sludge. Smash. A large and powerful gust of wind slammed into the two of them as the villain splattered the villain off Izuku. Izuku was not prepared for this, Blacked out. The last thing he saw was All Might, a buff blonde man with a smile that said everything is fine, he's so much cooler in person. The man flashed his signature smile. One moment later, hey kid, All Might said as he was slapping Izuku's face to wake him up. Hey, thought lost you there, All Might exclaimed, making Midoriya gasp in complete and utter shock. It's him. The real thing, in the flesh. I have to get an autograph. I have a pen here somewhere. Please sign my notebook. Midoriya reached for his notebook and turned to a blank page to find that it was already signed. He already did. Thank you. This will be a family heirloom. A treasure for many future generations. Midoriya was bowing very fast and viciously. But thanks for your help. I have caught the evildoer, All Might exclaimed while holding 2 soda bottles with the monster trapped inside. Wait, you're leaving already? But there's so much I want to ask you, Izuku said, seeing All Might getting ready to leave. I have to get this guy to the police. Sorry, but pros are constantly fighting not just villains, but also time. All Might performed a big jump and started flying. It was then showed that the green-haired boy hitched a ride on his gigantic legs. Let go. I love my fans, but this is too much. All Might tried to make him let go. Wait, we're flying. If I let go now, I'll die. And I just want to talk and ask you something, so before you drop me at least do it on a roof, Izuku said. Oh, that's a good point. All Might agreed. The two of them landed on a rooftop on a random building. Young man, that was very dangerous, you could have been hurt, All Might scolded Izuku for doing something like that. Yeah, I'm sorry for that, but I really need to ask you something, Izuku said, to want to ask All Might a question that had been on his mind. Young man, maybe another time, so why don't you go home, All Might trying to shoo Izuku away so he doesn't see his true form. I know, but this has been on my mind for, damn it. I can't go much longer, All Might thought, as smoke came out of him causing him to shrink. Izuku couldn't finish what he wanted to say as he saw smoke coming out of All Might's body as he shrunk. All Might. All Might sighed and answered the question on Izuku's mind. Yes, I am All Might said as Izuku stood there shocked at what he heard. But how? How are you like this and still be All Might, the one who saves people, with a fearless smile on his face? A fearless smile, huh? All Might said as he began to tell Izuku that he was injured in a fight against a powerful and deadly villain. He told Izuku that the injury made him lose part of his stomach and that he could only do hero work for 5 hours a day. Izuku was shocked that his favorite hero was fighting a dangerous injury and still smiled like nothing. I see now, you smile to hide your fears. Because if people know that the #1 hero is actually afraid, they'll lose hope, Izuku said, surprisingly All Might that he figured it out. But the next world surprised him. You're still early in my eye, it brave to do what you can do, Izuku said, making All Might smile. So what is your question you wanted to ask me, young man? All Might asked, and Izuku looked at him confused. You said you had a question, that's why you held on to me. Oh yeah, that completely slipped my mind, Izuku said, causing All Might to choke on some blood while muttering about the young generation. My question is, can someone with a dangerous quirk be a hero? Izuku said, looking at the skeleton. I've said this once before, be not all quirks are dangerous, some can be very useful, like the #2 hero Endeavor. He a quirk is fire, even my quirk is distortion, said All Might. He then pull up his shirt to show Izuku his stomach that has a giant scare. But don't think that cause of your quirk you are untouchable. I got this 5 years ago, he said. Was it from Toxic Chainsaw? Izuku said, using his fanboy knowledge. Wow, you know your stuff. But that punk couldn't defeat me. This fight was kept under wraps. I'm supposed to be the guy who's always smiling, right? I'm the symbol of peace. People everywhere have to think that I'm never afraid. But honestly, I smile to hide the fear inside, All Might said. So what is your quirk? All Might said. It called Demon of Domination. It's strong, but it can be very dangerous. I can, if I want to, I can destroy a city, and I did not name it, Izuku said. Chapter 2. The demonic being that is a cinnamon roll and his masters. I can't believe this is happening, Izuku yelled as he ran with the very shuriken form of All Might toward the outside mark that is on fire, where Izuku saw the sludge villain holding an ash blonde girl hostage. Why is nobody helping her? She dying, Izuku thought. The heroes can get to the girl due to her using that sludge guy making her quirk, one random civilian said. Izuku, hearing this, ran toward her. He kid, wait, Small Might said. Damn you sludge fucker, Katsuki internally shouted in her mind. As she tried to get the sludge villain off her. I'll make you play, Katsuki, Izuku yelled as he ran toward her. Deku, stay away, you get yourself kill. Why would you just trying to be a hero and be something else, you quirkless jerk, Katsuki thought. Izuku then throws his yellow backpack at the sludge man's eyes and blinded him. but he was still able to use Katsuki's explosion quirk on Izuku, a real powerful one that covered him. Katsuki was horrified at that moment, but what happens next surprised her. Izuku tackled her out of the sludge and punched the sludge man's face that caused an air vacuum that put on some of the flames to go out. Katsuki's biggest shock was seeing Izuku's new form. He has darker tan skin, black sclera in his eyes and 2 pair of horn pop out of his forehead, and wild hair on his face and body were blue demonic tribal markings tattoos, and that was her biggest mistake, looking at Izuku's abs due to his uniform being destroyed. Holy Mother of the White Buddha, she whispers to himself with a bloody nose. You piece of shit kid. The sludge man. Detroit Smash. All Might yelled, pouncing the sludge man and causing the huge amount of air pressure to put out the rest of the fire with a hurricane punch which made it rain. Izuku, seeing everything was done, went back to normal. Well, almost everything. The muscle was still there. Izuku's has muscle. Awahaha. A dark privy part of Katsuki mind said, making her get a red face. After Izuku was getting a lecture on using his quirk, as well as Katsuki, just for good measure, now that the 2 middle school students were done with the whole sludge problem, he left to go home to see his mother. As the 2 reached their crossroad, Katsuki spoke. Deku, why the fuck did you lie to me? Katsuki said. If I did tell you, would you believe me? The doctor lied to us. Turns out he was a con doctor, stealing quirks of others' kid and trying to make so bioweapons he could not use them, so he thought he can make some money on it. He tried, but it failed big time when he tried to steal mine. Lucky me. But it only active when I trained with my masters for the first time, Izuku said, smiling at the first time seeing Kenichi fought a guy 10 times bigger than him, the Akisame telling him you can be strong without a quirk. He then remembers the training he went through to activate his quirk. That poor bear, that was his first kill. Plus you saw it, I was in control, doesn't mean I found of lose it, Izuku said. Now I have to get home and tell mom I'm okay and no one died, Izuku said. Shut it, I didn't ask for your help, Katsuki shouted. Okay Kachin, tell Mitsuki Obakin and Masaru Ojisan I said hi, Izuku said. Shut up, do it yourself, Katsuki said, huffing as she left towards her home. As he saw her left, he counted to 30 seconds. Okay, she is gone now, Izuku said, seeing the buff from of All Might walking. So what you talking about was your quirk, and you said you didn't name it. All Might now in his small might form. I was attacked by a giant black bear with about my quirk. I was 5 at the time, and one of my masters stopped me from going on a rampage. Master, my quirk's battle lust took a while to control. I'm still in control, it just I act differently, more like my friend who just left, full of adrenaline, and if I'm not careful I can kill someone. That's why I never told anyone, not even my teachers at school know I have a quirk, Izuku said. Is it in the quirk registered database? Small Might said. Nope, 2 reasons why. 1, I fear that someone like that will try to hack the database to get it, and 2, I don't want people to try to kiss my butt, Izuku said. You might if we talk and walk. I have to see my mom and tell her I'm fine, he said as he walked toward his mother's home. You don't live with her, Small Might said. Yes and no, I started to live at a dojo that I go to on my first day of the second grand. The place is called Ryozanpaka, a place I met my strongest persona alive, and I mean it. They have no quirks, they are all quirkless, but they can still take people with quirks on, and they do care if you have a quirk, they still teach you, Izuku said with a bright smiling. Ryozanpaka, All Might said. He then remembers what his old teacher Nana told him about one of her old friends, Hayato Furinji, a quirkless man that everyone fears, even him, wouldn't be stupid enough to fight the ultimate Superman. From an old man, he's about your buff size, and he helped me train my quirk. Then again, he and everyone helped name it, made me draw it from a box. Now I have to put it down in the database after this, Izuku said. So why did you came to see me anyway? He asked. I wanted to thank you. If you didn't jump into the fight, I would have just been a worthless bystander. You made me remember who I really am. I saw myself in you when you ran in to save your girlfriend, he said. She not my girlfriend, just a friend, an old childhood friend who is a girl, Izuku said. Elsewhere. Why did you lie to me, you stupid idiot, baka, baka? Katsuki yelled as she punches a plushie of Izuku, with rabbit ears. Back with Izuku. So I desired to make you my successor. I deem you wroth to inherit my quick as your, All Might said. Izuku just looks at All Might with a blank face. Huh? The young boy said. The tabloids guess that my power is super strength or invulnerability, but on TV, if the question is asked, I just dodge it with a funny joke, because the symbol of peace just had to be a natural born hero. But I'm going to tell you a secret. I was not born with this power. It was passed on to me like a sacred torch. All Might spread his arms and a glowing image of him appeared in Izuku's mind. Wait. It's true that nobody knows how your quirk works. It's one of the world's greatest mysteries, but the idea of passing on a quirk to others is mutter. Izuku was now just muttering over and over again. The word mutter was circling around him and All Might. It looks like you're overthinking this whole inheriting thing. Stop nerding out, All Might exclaimed. 3 months later, Dagoba Beach, after Izuku and All Might spoke to the masters of Ryozanpaka Dojo. Izuku get a new task to clean and practicing on using One for All. Thanks to the years of training, his body was perfect to use its power without any major drawback. But doing this, he was targeted by his town's mad inventor Mei Hatsume, a girl with no personal space issue, and started a pact with the world's strongest demonic cinnamon roll and the mad inventor. Run for your life, people, what have I done? Fox Sky packs his bags and ran for the hill. Cause after the first few months, Mei made a robot that was the size of All Might that she calls All Bot. The robot was programmed with tons of fighting styles all over the next and ever heroes fighting styles. And now that the beach clean Izuku was stretching his body help him was All Bot, he looked like a robotic version of All Might. So you want me to spare against All Bot now that he full ready? Izuku said, stretching his legs. Ehehehe. Yes, I want to see my baby go all out, he'll be my greatest helper and bodyguard. Mei said she is a very cute girl. She is a reasonably short girl with quite a mature build. She has salmon pink hair, which is generally shoulder length, although it does vary, which is styled into thick dreadlocks and side swept to her right. Her eyes are wide and sloped upwards with some notably long upper eyelashes, their irises yellow with a cross in the center, making them look somewhat like scope lenses. You have a good friend, Izuku, it's too bad she doesn't go to your school. A man of above average height and messy black hair. He is wearing a white yukata and dark blue hakama pants. A unique trait in his appearance is the dull and nearly colorless pupils of his eyes. And she wants you a toy that you can train. Does it follow the basic law of the human body in sparing mode? Akisame asked the young inventor. Yes, but it also he an AI so he can think for himself, but he won't kill anyone. I made sure he has the heart of a can get a heroic license to stopping bad guys if he wants, ain't that right, my robot baby? Mei said, talking to the robotic monster. So if I break All Bot you won't be mad, he can back up his robo soul like in your computer, Izuku said, now jumping in place, get his blood pumping. No, but that depends on the damage, Izu, but I know how you can make my happy, she said. Okay. I'll be the referee when I say stop, you stop. All Bot, you're only allowed to dislocate bones, don't worry them, Akisame said. Izuku using DOD and OFA as his skin turned darker and the making appeared as well. Green lighting came out. Begin. The judo master said. Izuku ran toward the robot, same with All Bot ran at Izuku. The two made contact with a punching each other's fist to fist. Izuku then ribbed AB's wrist and give him a judo toss toward and sandy ground, but at mid-flip Izuku gave the robot a Muay Thai roundhouse kick toward its robot ribs. Luckily Mei built All Bot with strong metal. Ost, you say run. But All Bot returned the hit by giving Izuku a surprising kick to the face, sending Izuku flying across the beach. Tabling. Izuku used a street dance move that he learned from one of Kenichi's friend. Wow, Mei, you really made a great piece of work here, Izuku said. He then powered up by 5% more. Full cowl, time to see what he can really do, ready to go beyond, Izuku said as lighting sparked everywhere. Plus Ultra, All Bot said as the two started to rapidly punch each other. Izuku stops at started to block and counter the robotic rampage of fist that was heading towards his face and torso. I got to go even beyond my limits, surpass those came before me, not as the next symbol of pace and be more, bring hope to people. Dragon Smash. Izuku yelled as he broke her throw the robot's guard and gave it an uppercut to its lower jaw, hitting the robot's block off for about 5 feet in the air. The force made Izuku was bleed from his knuckles. Winner All Bot. Izuku, you disqualified for killing your opponent. I'm still alive, the disembodied robot said, as he went to pick up its head. Chapter 3 New Power and New Friend. Izuku is smiling at his new accomplishment on beating All Bot. He was so happy he felt like he was floating in the air. Nice work, Izuku, but maybe you should get down now, Akisame said, as he and Mei were looking at a floating Izuku. Wait, what? Izuku said. He then fell down on the sand headfirst, like an ostrich. A new power really in Izuku, he was floating, Yagi said, who just arrived at the beach. This might be a part of One for All, said an older man with long blonde hair and full-fledged beard wearing a green kimono and blue sash. He is Hayato Furinji, a martial arts master that is known as the ultimate superhuman. He came to see Izuku progress on the beach, plus to get some fresh air. Over the years he had seen young Izuku as a grandson and has been there for him. It may come in handy, plus with this new part of this quirk I can work on a special baby for Zuku custom hem, Mei said. Izuku may get more quirk, and there are 6 more users of One for All, Hayato said. Izuku, please try not to use that part of One for All until you're used to it, the elder said. Izuku was just writing down on a different notebook title My Body and Quirk Training Moves and Abilities. I'm going to need to practice on fighting while floating, maybe ask to use the school's pool or go to a Quirk gym to practice, muttered Izuku. This made the Hayato smile. Never change, Izuku. The next day at school, as the day goes by, Izuku Katsuki and the rest of their class day started with a new student. He is a young man with messy, indigo-colored hair that flares out in large tufts around his head and notably straight teeth. His eyes are dark purple with white pupils, and are thin and somewhat triangular in shape, with no visible eyelashes. They're usually half closed, and he has very dark eye bags underneath them. This is Hitoshi Shinso, he'll be starting here today, their teacher said. You can sit next to Midoriya over there, he said, pointing at next to Izuku. Walking toward the empty desk, Izuku smiled at Hitoshi. After a couple of hours of classes, it was lunch. Izuku stood up to look at his new classmate. Hey, Hitoshi-san, you want to eat lunch together? Izuku said, holding a bento box. Okay, this is out of nowhere, but why? Shinso said. You look like you can need a friend, Izuku said. School's roof, so you can tell people what to do with your quirk, that's. Hitoshi looked down, knowing what Izuku going to say. Amazing, do you know what use a quirk like that can have in a hostage situation? You can also use that in evacuations, and you want to show other people with quirks like yours can be heroes. Izuku said. Shinso was surprised at hearing this. At his old school he told he would be a villain, but hearing Izuku said completely opposite. Hey, come with me to the dojo, I think I can help you get stronger, plus I can introduce you to a friend who can make you some gear to get in the hero department. Why are you doing this? Shinso said. 2 reasons why. 1. I don't get my quirk till I was 5 years old, so before getting it I was treated like a worthless being. And 2. I killed a living creature. When my quirk I'm more in control, but I went those 10 years without showing my quirk, so people called me quirkless. Thing is, my quirk is really dangerous, Izuku said. So you have villain's quirk in a way, Shinso said. Yes, but to me, there's no such thing as a villain's quirk. People are just ignorant to other people's pain, Izuku said. So this dojo, what do they teach? Shinso said, as he took a bit out of his sandwich. It a mixture of martial arts like jujitsu, Muay Thai, boxing, karate, Chinese martial arts, even all forms of weapons. I thinking Johto, maybe karate as well as weapon training, Izuku said. Later, Ryozanpaka, after the school day was over, Izuku had brought Shinso to the dojo. This is the place, so stay with me and don't wander off from me or make any sudden movement, Izuku said as he opens one of the side doors. This is a nice looking place, Shinso said, looking around, seeing a koi fish pond, a couple of cherry trees, and a dojo, an old Japanese house. Shinso also saw another building next to it. I'm back and I brought a friend with me, Izuku said. Akisame, hearing Izuku arrival, came out as well as 4 other adults. One a fairly short middle-aged man. He wears the typical Chinese clothing used in martial arts with a hat to cover the bald part of his balding head and a long pointed out Chinese mustache on his face. His name is Kensai Ma. Next to him is a tall and largely muscled tan-skinned man. He has short eggplant-colored hair with a longer strand hanging over his face. Across his nose is a scar. He is not wearing a shirt but is wearing a brown leather jacket and blue jeans with bandages wrapped around his forearms. He was also drinking a bottle of beer. His name is Shio Sakari. The next guy is extremely tall and powerfully built, has tan skin, short spiky silver hair, and is usually seen wearing a yellow tank top and red shorts and a monkal around his head with bandages wrapped around his hands and feet. This is Apachai Hopachai. The last is a fairly tall and beautiful young woman with a slender frame yet remarkably curvaceous figure and well-endowed breasts. She has long waist-length raven hair usually tied back in a high ponytail, peach skin, and light purple eyes. She wears a purple choker around her neck that contains numerous small pins, as well as a small pink kimono and long purple stockings. Underneath she wears bandages over her chest and a fundoshi. When fighting seriously she dons chainmail and wears a black strap under her breast to keep the chainmail in place. Her most eye-catching feature is her eyebrows, which resemble lightning bolts. She also has a katana on her back. This is Shigur Kasaka. Shinso, meet my masters. Akisame Kotsuji, my jujitsu master. Kensai Ma, he teaches all forms of Chin's martial arts. Shio Sakari is my karate teacher. He also is a drunk, so there that. Apachai Hapachi may look like a thug, but he's nice and is the Muay Thai master here. And last is the mistress of all weapons, Shigur Kasaka, the dojo's weapon mistress. Guys, say hi to Hitoshi Shinso, he a new student at my school and he was to be a hero as well, Izuku said. Hello, nice to meet you, Shinso said. So you want us to help train him? Why? Shio asked with a slight drunken slur. Well, his quirk is mine back and I was thinking he can learn and get stronger to get in the hero course at UA, Izuku said. And want is his quirk, if I may ask? An elderly voice said. Looking at the door, Shinso and Izuku saw Hayato. Master Hayato, good afternoon, Izuku said, bowing his head. It called brainwashing. If I use my quirk allows me to put someone in a state where they are forced to obey whatever I command them to do. I can only activate this power when my target has verbally responded to me. Brainwashing needs to be intentionally activated and will not take effect if I don't, Shinso said. So a very amazing quirk, Haido said. Indeed he can be a get hero with that quirk, Akisame said. Listen, kid, quirks aren't what makes you a villain, it's your actions, Shio said. A quirk isn't bad nor good, it's like a gun, useless to some if they don't know how to use it, Kensai said. So we can train you but it going to be tough, Akisame said. 1 hour later, after an hour of homework and paperwork, Shinso was now in his PE uniform and tied up and put in a horse stance, and holding 2 jars of hot water under his arms was a curved blade that would jab his armpits, a lead incensed under his butt, and 2 teacups with hot water on his laps. With Izuku, who is wearing black pants and tie upside down on a pull-up bar, he was with Akisame and he was making Izuku doing some crunches while dodging a stick whack from Akisame. This is training, it's more like torture, Shinso said. It both, but you know what they say, misery loves company, Izuku said with a smile, dodging a swipe from Akisame's stick. A perfect use of that phrase, Izuku, Akisame said, swiping the stick at Izuku. Just 2 more hours and we'll go for our daily run from here to Dagoba Beach. You can't be serious, Shinso said. No, serious was Harry's godfather, Izuku said, getting Akisame to laugh. And so began a friendship of 2 souls who've been given the worst path due to others' views on life. Shinso trained his body to match Izuku and got to test on Mei, exploiting darts as well as learned to throw them thanks to Shiger and a few jujitsu moves from Akisame. Now they are getting ready for the test and going over some notes. I think should get a capture scarf like Eraserheads, Shinso said as he and Izuku were studying. That can be useful, I think Shiger can help you with that, Izuku said, also Mie as well. Still upset that she kid us out until we get our entry letters, Shinso said. Here you go, you too. A beautiful 25-year-old woman said. She has long blonde hair, wearing skin-tight purple spandex and a pink apron and a wedding ring. This Mu Furinji Hayato's granddaughter. Tibet on Izuku, he is purely innocent due to being around Mu and Shiger and females with the same body type. He has built up an immunity seeing female heroes sexy in their customers. Thanks Mu Onisan, Izuku said. Thanks, Mrs. Shirahama, Shinso said. The UA test is tomorrow, as don't overstudy, she said. Izuku, dude, how come you can't hand talking to a girl but you can be around Shiger and Mu who dress like that? Tibet on Izuku, this does not mean he can talk to a girl other than Katsuki Bakugo. I just used to it, I guess, plus some girls don't seem to find me as good dating material, Izuku said. The 2 then continue studying. The day of the exam, Shinso had already went inside while Izuku looked up at the building in awe. Out of my way, Deku! Yelled Katsukiho as Izuku turned around to see his childhood friend and bully. She has a longer mane of hair. Kachin, he said in response. Don't stare at me, you're in my way, move or I'll kill you, Katsuki said angrily, stated as she walked past Izuku, as Izuku frantically began wishing luck to her. Come on Izuku, today's the day, the UA's entry exam day is today. It time for me to show what I can do, Izuku said, but trips over his foot, or trip and die. But he just started to float in the air. Huh? Izuku said, looked around as a brown hair angle. This angle questioned if he was okay, as Izuku began struggling to move at the sudden loss of gravity. The girl went on to explain that she stopped him with her quirk and apologized for using it without permission. She then said that she would see him later and walked away. I just talked to a girl, Izuku, though not aware that Shiger was there, taking with a camera and under orders Inko to watch Izuku. The camera was made by Mei as well as an earpiece. You're a good Shiger, Mei said. Another girl caught the eyes of my baby, more grandbabies, Inko said. I'm going in, Shiger said. Izuku, look around quickly, better get inside. Chapter 4, Save the Girl Then Gets Slapped. Izuku now in UA's auditorium with Katsuki and Shinso while trying not to freak out seeing 2 people. One was his weapons master Shiger hiding where no one can see her, but due to his training with her he was able to see her. The second was the person announcing the exam was UA's English teach and pro hero present Mike. Good morning examiners and welcome to UA's Heroes course exam. Yelled Hizashi Yamada, also named present Mike, as a tall, slim man with long blonde hair, which he wears spiked upwards in a huge tuft behind his head, and a small mustache. He has rectangular eyes with concentric greenish-yellow pupils, red in the manga, and he is almost always seen with a large smile on his face and has never been seen drawn with nostrils. His hero costume consists of a black jacket with a very tall collar, upturned and complete with studs, and matching black pants and knee-high boots. He sports tan shoulder pads and a red belt and elbow pads, all studded, and black fingerless gloves. His neck is always obscured by a directional speaker which he uses with his quirk. He always wears a pair of headphones with the word, Hage, written on the headband and a pair of orange-tinted shades. Wow. Present Mike so cool, Izuku said, trying to hold back a super fangasm. I listen to his radio show every day while I do my morning road work. I still can't believe that all the teachers here are pro-heroes. Izuku was once again fanboying as Bakugo told him to shut up. Shut it, Baka Deku, Katsuki hissed at Izuku. Now I hope you all are ready cause today's playlist is a tough one. He plus for the students' reactions. Alright, let's get started. Present Mike continued to explain the exam, which everyone else already knew. Excuse me. I have a question. A tall teenage boy with black hair and glasses, he also has a muscular body frame. This boy's name is Tanaya Iida from the Iida family. On the sheet, there are 4 villains listed. If this is a mistake, it is shameful. We're exemplary students trying to become heroes. And you, with the curly hair. Iida pointed at Izuku. Hold it, if you had let Mike-sensei speak he could tell us all about the villain point on the test, Izuku said, pointing at Iida with the words hold it on behind him appeared. As he was saying this, green Choju Giga Bunny was running around with a flag saying chill out man. Okay, thanks examinee number 7111 and number 5111 as well as 411, thanks for calling it in with your request. The 4th villain is worth 0 points, that guy's just an obstacle we'll be throwing in your way, it's not that it can't be beaten, but there's kind of no point. Present Mike explained, as he shows a pixel of himself fighting each of the robots. Iida thanked the voice hero and apologized to Izuku, he then sat back down. Now, let's go, plus ultra, Present Mike exclaimed. Everyone headed out to their designated testing site. Izuku now wearing a green GI with the Ryozanpaka Dojo crest on his back, brown hakama pants that were tied up with a red sash, wearing Mei's prototype of a white fingerless gauntlets and red and black greaves on his back, as a katana sword the Akisame carved for him to practice with Shigur, as well as chainmail made by Shigur around his neck was his green scarf around at the other applicants. Wow, so many people are here, Izuku said. He then took a deep breath. He then saw the brown hair angle who was doing the same, taking deep breaths. It's her again. I should thank her for catching me earlier. Izuku was about to walk over to her when Iida put a hand on his shoulder. That girl looks like she's trying to concentrate on the trials ahead. Are you trying to distract her and destroy her chances of succeeding in what? Iida was interrupted by Izuku, who looked at Iida with a glare. Chill out, you know nothing, also you're doing the same right now. Izuku he then saw the gates opening and ran. What is he doing? Iida said. What are you waiting for? Begin, Mike yelled. As Izuku ran in he saw a one-pointer charging at him, knocking robotic fist that was trying to punch him. Izuku grabbed it and threw it at a 3-pointer like a giant shuriken at the bigger BattleBots rocket launcher pack. This caused the 3PT to exploit it. Izuku was about to cut down another 1PT until a white laser hit it and destroyed it. Looking at where the laser came from, Izuku saw seeing a blonde and blue-eyed boy wearing fancy clothing. On his waist was a belt with a lens. Thanks, Izuku said. He then grabs a sharp piece of the bata, threw it at another 1PT head that was behind the blonde. And thank you measure, the blonde said. Ryozanpaka the masters, as well as Mew, Kenichi, Mei, and Inko, were watching Izuku take out the villain bots. Wow, look at the kid go, Sakari said. I'm back, Hayato said, entering the meeting room of the dojo. Did we miss anything? Said a fluffy hair male that was age as Inko, who is wearing a suit and tie. This is Hisashi Midoriya, a member of Interpol. Dear, you're back, Inko said. Hey, buddy, your brat just getting started kicking robot bad guy, and so for UA security is slow and need more work, Sakari said. But he's a little sloppy and needs practice in his new moves, Akisame said, seeing Izuku overstepping on the combat stands. I'll help him with that later, Hayato said, thinking of going camping to the dark forces over his break. Thank you all of you, Hisashi said. Even if Izuku was quirkless, I still believe he would have still believed he could be a hero with all of your help. He bowed to the masters. Thank Kenichi and Mew for bringing him to Akisame to check on him. He help us as well too, Hayato said, remembering the small young boy who wanted to be strong to protect everyone as a hero. Who knew if young Izuku seeing Kenichi, a quirkless student, taking down a couple of gang members with quirks would make him go the path of the martial arts. And when we all finding out he has a quirk during a camping trip and helping him control with said quirk was a confidence booster for young Izuku, Kensai said. Look, Izuku is now using his quirk, Kensai said, as the TV shows Izuku now having tan skin and his markings and horns as he slashes several robots with a wooden sword. He really warming up now, Kenichi said. Mei, can you recon? I think I see something familiar, looking at a red spiky hair kid using a couple of familiar boxing punching. Shigur, please take out the drones I gave you this morning, Mei said, as she brought out her laptop and started to type commands. The laptop screen shows many of the students fighting the villain bots. Izuku has an amazing talent for making friends, Hashish said, hoping he can take off from work to be with his family. Back with Izuku had just shaved his blade away as a 3PT was cut in half, as well as its missions and rocket launchers. Okay, I think that enough points now. What the fuck is that? Izuku, hearing one of the students cursing, looking at what he saw, made everyone freak out. He then saw a giant robot that is the size of a building, as well as a horde of students, run toward him, jumped and did a couple of float hopping in the air above the students' heads. Ow. Hearing that voice, Izuku saw the brown hair angle pin by some Ruble landing in that ground. Izuku ran towards her and, using OFA full cowl as an added booster to jumping, and gave it a roundhouse kick to the King Koopa of all robots in the head, knocking it off its head. But because of Izuku was in a rush, he had overdone it with full cowl, dislocated his right and had broken his left leg. He then started to fall, but due to the pain, he could not use his float quirk. As he rapidly reached the ground, he was slapped by the brown hair angle and was caught by Shigur. I got him. You can let go, she said in her neutral way of speaking. Release, the brown angle girl said. She then started to barfing up rainbows and flowers. Taking a breath, she looked at the woman who was holding Izuku up. Is he going to be okay? She said. He'll be just fine. I can heal the left leg, but take him to a kisame to take care of his dislocations. An old lady wearing a hero costume theme off a doctor with a needle theme walking cane. This was Recover Girl. She then kissed Izuku's broken leg. You need to upgrade your system defenses, Shigur said. She then looked at the brown hair girl and handed her a paper flyer. Here. Come see him here, call first, she said. She then ran out of there as fast as she can. As soon as saw a slender and tall, pale-skinned man with messy, shoulder-length black hair that partially hangs in front of his face and often half-opened black eyes. He is usually recognized for his worn-out appearance, often appearing as if he just rolled out of bed. His facial hair remains unkempt and his eyes almost always look tired and flat. He sports a ragged black outfit that consists of a long-sleeved shirt and matching pants that tuck into his boots. He also wears a utility belt and his signature wrap scarf at all times. He hides a pair of yellow goggles underneath his scarf. Where is she taking him? The man said. Oh, so you know one of them as well, Aizawa, Recovery Girl said. No, as much as you. It was a couple of cases back about Yami. I came across her and a boy she was teaching, that was it, Aizawa said, blushing from remembering seeing her body. Ryozanpaka at the dojo training room on one of the mats lied. Izuku with his right leg was now relocated back in place. He was slowly waking up to see the dojo's ceiling. Looks like you're up, kid. Nice save by the way, plus ultra, Sakari said. Izuku, hearing this, was fully awake, seeing both his parents, his masters, as well as Shinso, Miu, and Kenichi smiling at him. Inko rushed up to Izuku and hugged him and smiled while crying tears of joy. Nice save, you rush without thinking, but we still have lots to teach you during your break, Hayato said. Wait, you saw me? Izuku said, looking at everyone, then at the TV. Where it is showing him meets the brown hair girl who helped him out, as well as Izuku. Lala face. Izuku, it's time for us to have a father and son talk, Hisashi said, grabbing his son, and Inko grabbing Miu and left the boy to talk to Izuku aloud. Somewhere else, the brown hair girl, who is named Ochako Uraraka, was now in her room in her older sister's apartment, lying on her bed and looking at the flyer of the dojo that was given to her. Ryozanpaka, Ochako said, thinking about that boy. I hope I can see you again, she said. Ochako Diner, her sister said as she came in her room. She has dark brown hair, occasionally appearing black, which falls below her waist and is tied at the tips to form a dolphin tail. Split her eyes reddish-brown color. Her bust waist hip measures are 92-60 to 88 centimeters. Wearing her hero suit, which was a white tank top and black mini skirt with a belt and suspenders, she dons red and black gloves that extend to her elbows, red boots, black socks, and a metal guard on her left elbow. This is the combat heroine bouncer, also known as Tifa Uraraka. Seeing her sister holding a box of pizza, Ochako put the flyer down and smiled. Hi, Tifa, how was your day? Ochako said, smiling at her older sister. What's that, a note from a boy? Tifa tased give Ochako with a grin. And no, it's a flyer of a dojo, Ochako said, thinking about the boy who saved her. A boy involved, Tifa said. Her older sister sense is kicking in. She then grabbed the flyer. A dojo flyer. I'm free tomorrow, you can see that boy. Well, I see this dojo, Tifa said, making Ochako blush redder than a cherry. Ryozanpaka, Izuku, and Shinso was pale after hearing the birds and bees. The two were sparring during a kisame jujutsu training. Come on, you two, put your back in it, Akisame yelled. Right, the two yelled, speeding up.